Okay, I am back. Okay, I think you can see my screen.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Right. Okay, so before we start, just short introduction, guys. Just your name. You can speak like in 30 seconds about your last project, initiative, or if you have, or you're the president of a local NGO or association or anything like that. Just to have an idea about you guys. 30 seconds. Please go ahead.
Who's gonna start?
Go, Iman, go.
المهم, je me présente, Iman Boutahri, 23 ans. Je suis chargée de programmation, assistante de production au sein de la Hip Hop Academy Oujda. Donc, cette l'école qui a l'incubation, les artistes ou les projets liés le domaine urbain. Tout ce qui est urbain, le hip-hop, les disciplines dialogue. On
Nice.
a maintenant de 3 ans, plan de 3 ans. C'est l'incubation dans les métiers techniques audio et vidéo. L'administration culturelle. Ou c'est pour 100% pour les artistes dans le rap, DJing, MC ou les disciplines de hip-hop كاملين.
Nice. Donc, كتخدموا في creative industry ياك
Yeah,
الاندستري.
yeah.
Good. مشرفين إيمان. تفضلوا سي عبد الرحيم.
السلام عليكم. I am Abdurrahim Bala, 21 years old. I'm studying sport management at UNCG Agadir, and also work as a volunteer as a program coordinator with the Hot Prize Foundation in Morocco. So what I'm doing is helping the campus directors and the participants to participate at this competition. I was also founder of the Hot Prize Club in our university, and we have been qualified last year with 3 project idea to the international phase. Also, I'm a member at UNESCO SDG for Youth and Student Network. It's a network that look to improve the quality education in worldwide. So I'm member representing Morocco at this network.
Awesome.
I have multiple interests between sports, entrepreneurship. I want to combine those things to work on a project in the future.
Interesting.
And marketing too. I saw that you had an internship with Synergy Media.
Yes, you know Yunus.
Yes, I was with them last summer. Yes,
It's cool guys, cool guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually I had my bachelor degree in Agadir, cozy place. It was really good old days.
Yeah. We are playing Uno every day.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
صرفين سي عبد الرحيم صرفين.
Thank you.
Next, هناء.
Yeah,
Or-
sure.
Yeah.
كتسمعيني مزيان? You hear me well?
مزيان.
Okay. So my name is Hannah and I'm 22. I am 5th year medical student for Rabat. I am also a content creator and youth activist. So actually من العام الأول ديالي I was involved in clubs and programs and everything. So I'm a DJ Girls mentorship program as mentor alumna and the student ambassador alumna as well. حاليا I'm embarking on new journeys as leadership lab participants with Life CD Foundation, a global shaper with Rabat, and UGL connector as well. So I'm a newbie in the network. For initiatives, I am working on expanding my own initiative. It was a media initiative called كيفاش كيدوز طالب نهارو, student day in a student life of tatata. And I filmed multiple videos to help high schoolers and university students know about different fields. But now I'm working on expanding it more into engaging them and empowering them more, high schoolers, and also working on new ideas like booklets, something that could be more practical for high schoolers to know more about different fields and to get them inspired to do more and look forward for more. So here's me in 30 seconds, I hope.
نايس بيتش. مصرفين هنا.
Thank you
مرحبا.
so much. Merci.
ساب المنعم. عبد المنعم يس. عبد المنعم. انت معنا؟ مايك ما خدامش. Okay, you can speak when you want. Okay, just a heads up, guys. This is going to be very technical workshop. Okay, so please, if something does not make any sense, if there's like a word or a statement that is new to you and you want to more dig into more details, please stop me and ask for more clarification. Also, if you have relevant experience or more, or maybe a simpler explanation of something in the presentation, please go ahead. Okay, I'm trying to this as more as interactive as possible given the limited time. So I would start with this quote from Debbie, who is working on the Theory of Change organization, that says, in an ideal world, social problems could be solved with neat, simple solution. But the reality is a different thing. And I'm sure from your experience, from your involvement in different activities you mentioned, sometimes things are not simpler than it looks. And I like this illustration to illustrate this situation. Sometimes, okay, do this. So if we take this the first illustration, you are motivated or have enthusiasm to launch something, to create something, to do some good, to fix or to address a local issue, a social issue in your community, in your university, in your country. So you start planning, and you can see these guys have been building. You can see from this. Okay, where is my? Okay, you can see they are building, but at some point, this solution or this approach is not that it's not working. Same here. For those who started or when we went to mathematics course, there's some logic. It's always logic. So you have the starting point to the end point. But this guy says something missing here, because you cannot work from this starting position and have a solution without something between these two to accomplish. And this is why we have theory of change. Just to put you into context, we are talking about here theory of change in the context of international development, of local development sectors. You want whenever I say change, it means social change, and we will discover more in the upcoming slide. So I will start with some information and definition. So next time you hear theory of change or someone mentioned theory of change, you can at least have one of these information in front of you. So theory of change is a process and a product, which means that theory of change has these steps, step 1, 2, 3, etc. And by the end of the process, we have a product. And so the product itself is the theory of change. It helps us define how are going to achieve the change and why the change will happen. If we take any initiative or any social project, we want at the end of this initiative or of this project to see some change in your community, in the persons you work with, in yourself, in your organization, etc. So the theory of change help us really know how are going to achieve the change. And of course, when we're talking about change and how we're going to do it, you need to have a good understanding of the local context. We cannot, for example, ask Hannah, who work on medical, who has a medical degree and work on leadership, and then we will ask her, please, Hannah, we want you to address an issue related to hip hop or rap. It's it's going to be difficult because Hannah is going to work on an issue that is different from her background. So we need to have a good understanding. Just between brackets, I'm going to use some examples. If you guys not okay with it, just send a message and I will stop calling your name. The theory of change also, it's a communication tool. Most of the time, in every project or intervention, you will work with stakeholders. When we say stakeholders, maybe it's going to be your beneficiaries, your donors, your partners, your competitor, anyone. You cannot work alone, otherwise it's not an intervention. So the theory of change help you to gain agreement among stakeholders and to define what is success. When you want to change, we want to achieve a change, when it's going to be, what is the milestone to reach so we can say we succeeded? Because if you don't work with your stakeholders to define what success is, you will at the end of the project or your intervention or your activity, and you will be disappointed because the success from your perspective is different from the others. So that's why the theory of change help us to collectively say where is the success we want. Often when we're talking about theory of change, there's a pathway. Remember, we said theory of change is a process. So process entails there's a steps, there's a pathway. Okay, we start from position A to B, and to go from A to B, there are steps, there are things to do. There's a path. So theory of change is a pathway of change. And the pathway it's related to causal logic. We'll discover this in an example, and it helps us to. Most of the time, you find it like this: if we do the X, then Y will change because of assumptions. So if we did activity X, Y, I don't know, A, B, C, D, then we will have a change from this action or these activities. But this Y or this change will occur because we have assumptions. So theory of change, we said we go from A to B. If you want to go to A to B, we have you need to do something, some action, some activities. But for these activities to produce a result or a change, we put some assumptions that this will happen. I want to give you an example. So assumption, let's take, for example, when we say programmatics, that means it's linked to your activity or a project or a program. Either it's a leadership activity or incubation, or for example, I don't know, entrepreneurship activity. That's your activity, okay? Assumption. So we want to provide vocational training to unemployed youth. Okay, providing vocational training to employed youth will enhance their employability. Okay, so this is the change we want. We want unemployed youth for example, in hip hop or rap sector. We want to enhance their employability through training, etc. Okay, and through vocational training. So this seems like a fancy statement, but the assumption to hold this true, we will assume that one, the vocational training, هي la formation professionnelle. Okay, so the training aligns with current industry needs. So wherever training we have in the vocational training should align with what the industry wants. This is the first assumption. The second one, that the participant will actively engage and apply the skills learned. So the change we want is to enhance we want to work with unemployed youth through vocational training. But to achieve this, we need to first align our offer, our training, and to participate to actively engage. If one of these assumptions is not put in place, we will not achieve this change. Questions before I move on? Where is the chat box? All good? All good. There's also contextual assumption. So this is a programmatic assumption. We have the control of it. We have also assumptions that are beyond our control. So if we take, for example, the example of entrepreneurship in sports. So we want to enhance or we want to launch like small businesses in Agadir related to sports sector. Okay. Assumption to achieve this is that we have economic stability in the area. Why? Because even if your project provided fundings, training, coaching, and youth are really interested, and the sports is really something that can be and that can generate money, but if there are no economic stability, it won't happen. So economic condition, although it's an assumption, we need to put this assumption when we design our theory of change, because otherwise this change of the entrepreneurship program won't happen. Okay, I hope this is a good starting point. Just like I said, to have like a lot of information in your mind. Okay, strong theory of change. I put this three, I would say, thing to have. Developed in a participatory way with key local stakeholders. If Iman want to, if Iman works on a hip hop academy, okay, and she wants to launch an incubation program for rap and hip hop in Barkan and Oujda. And because she is motivated and passionate about this topic, she went and wrote the project alone in her room or in a public cafe, and that says she wants to do the incubation, etc. But let's say that she wants to do it in, let's say Agadir, okay? She works in Berkane. I don't remember where she works, but she says something in Oujda or Berkane, okay? But she wants to do it in Agadir, and she doesn't have any information about the context of Agadir. And Agadir, let's just say they are not really into rap or hip hop. They like ahidus, local music.
Same in Wajda.
In Oujda. Yeah,
Like her.
see? Okay. So imams need to sit with the rap and hip hop and other music people and design the theory of change. I heard that she's talking about incubation. Do really these guys want? I'm just putting questions. Do really hip hop and rap passionate youth want really incubation? Do you really want to launch their business on creative industry, or just a hobby for them? So we need to set our beneficiary, local stakeholders. Like I said earlier, it can be partners. Let's go to the to the culture ministry, either in Rabat or in Wajda or wherever, and speak with them in their public policies. Do they have in their direction that you will support this kind of this music of culture? If, for example, the local context or local people don't want this type of music, they want Amazigh, they want Shabi. So if these people don't want this kind of music, good luck having the buy-in. So it's essential that we develop in a participatory way our theory of change based on evidence and understanding of the local context. I speak about this. When we say evidence, for example, student leadership. So with Hana in her school, she conducted these videos, how you do your how the day about their days in typical day. And based on these videos, we noticed that this youth, for example, lack critical thinking, lack soft skills, or lack ability to speak for themselves. That's a starting point. We can go deeper. Let's conduct a research, a study based on like, for example, questionnaires. Let's understand this that there's a need for leadership program in med schools. Third thing are testable during implementation and adjustable based on learning. I'm not sure if you are familiar with monitoring, evaluation. Anyone?
In which context?
In project management. Monitoring, evaluation, learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you please, in like short sentences, what is it?
We're talking about the evaluation before or after the program.
As you want.
If it's after, no, في الكونتكست ديالنا ما انا جو سي با واش هادشي اللي كتقصد باسكو حنايا كنديروا عندنا لي بروغرام افتر البروغرام كيكون ليفالياسيون دو بروجي كيكون اكسترن كتكون لا بريستاسيون اكسترن ما كنكونوش حنا كنديروا ليفالياسيون على البروجي كيكون ليفالياسيون على كامل داكشي اللي ترياليزا وشنو كان ديزايني في البروجيكت وشنو ترياليزا وشنو ما ترياليزاش وعلاش وكاع الديتيلز.
Nice. Good. So evaluation and email organization they conducted at the end of intervention. This, of course, differs from an organization to another, from donor to another. Evaluation, monitoring, evaluation, learning cycle is that when we have like strong theory of change, like let's say 2 times a year, let's say we have, for example, we have a project of 4 years. We will meet once or twice a year and we'll say, first, does this, can we evaluate this theory of change? Can we measure the change? And second, when we're talking about learning, it's always linked to evaluation. So we want to know if this theory of change still holds. And donors like this, donors and who give the money like to have theory of change who is adjustable. You can work 2 years in your project with your theory of change. If it's not relevant, or one of your assumption is not anymore, is not anymore relevant. Like, for example, we spoke about economic stability, we need to change. So these are, I would say, typical strong theory of change.
إلا ما تكرياتش l'autonomisation jamais يكون change.
Exactly.
كاين المادي وكاين المادي ولكن هما ملي بجوج إلا ما كانتش ديك الحاجه كتكري لوتونوميزاسيون لا بيرسون ولا الجروب اللي كيخدموا على داك التشينج ما غادي تستمر never.
Yeah. يعني لا بروبوزيسيون ديالك ما الاول فيها مشكل. شكون اللي هو خصنا ندير الانجليز. who please tell me who ever saw this diagram in your project, a proposal, a presentation. Have you ever heard of resources, activities, input, output, impact, outcomes? Is it familiar?
But not put in this way, not put in this like succession.
What's the difference from the one you saw or you experienced?
I don't recall like really in details, but I don't know if it's similar to project management, like a series of work, or it's quite different. So because we always start with resources and data, and then we move over to like implementing, then the output and everything. But I would expect that this one is pretty much different. I sense it, I believe.
Yeah, it's similar what we said, because like I said, each donor, each organization use different form, okay? Most of the terms and the approach I'm using here is based on US side, the way of doing work. But essentially it's the same. In project management, you have you design or a project, you have initiation, implementation, evaluation, and you have monitoring in the whole process, and the end of the process is like the closure, project closure. So this is based on result-based management, which is one of the most used approach of management in most of international development implementing agencies or even donors. So, okay. So we have a project. Let's say entrepreneurship in sport. Okay, we want to help launch at least like 10 businesses in sport in Agadir and Rabat and Wajda. So of course you need the resources. Okay, you need which called input. You need human resources. You need equipments. You need the I don't know, buildings. You need the money. These are the inputs. You need any type of resources, experts, trainers, etc. We use this input to conduct activities. Okay, so a lot of activities, training, mentorship, visits, seminars, workshop, etc. So you use this input, these resources to conduct activities. These activities produce what would say tangible and measurable result. It's a byproduct of these activities. For example, we did a training on forms of businesses, on how, for example, on how to launch a business in Agadir. We train like 30 aspiring youth entrepreneurs in sport. So the output is number of participants. Okay. When we talk about the outcome, this is very important to understand between difference between output and the outcome. So outcomes, thanks to this immediate result, which is the number of participants, would have a change in behavior, in a gained knowledge, practical skills, etc. For example, there's a statement here: increased reading proficiency of students who completed the training. If we talk about entrepreneurship in sport, we can have increased capacity or knowledge of aspiring youth entrepreneurs in launching businesses. There's a change. Okay, they need to, and not only to gain like knowledge, but you need to apply this knowledge. For example, we have 30 youth who participate in this training, and after training and coaching, they are now capable of creating their own business in sport. And if we achieve this outcome, of course, this is one. It can be a lot of outcomes. It will contribute to long-term outcome. If we, for example, use this example, increase reading proficiency of student, what is the long-term outcome is reduction in overall community literacy rate, improved economic opportunities, and quality of life. So we can say for the sport entrepreneurship is increased economic growth in Agadir and Rabat and Wajda yeah, increased economic growth, which will lead to improved increased inclusion of youth in these cities. So this most of the time we have control over this part, okay? Social value, the output, the activity, the resources. We don't have control of this long-term outcome, okay? For example, let's say about Iman project incubation of hip hop rap. If we worked with these guys to be like the next gen artists in hip hop, okay, that will not only preserve the cultural stuff in that cities, but also the inclusion of these artists. We don't have the control of this. So the Iman, the Hip Hop Academy, the only be accountable until here. This part, we cannot, as an organization, be accountable for reduction of, I don't know, literacy rate or improved economic opportunities or quality of life. We don't have control over this at all. We contribute to this long-term outcome. Questions before we move on? Or anything to add from your experience or clarification, anything?
So I have a question. When
Yeah.
So when starting implementing the project, we should like have that vision of the long-term impact, like for sure, like because sometimes we don't know if the long-term impact, maybe it will not be the same. It will not be the same as like in reality. So we might see like differences between what we're going to assume in the long-term impact and what we're going to get. So is there like more techniques to be more accurate? I don't know. Just
Yeah,
asking.
that's actually an interesting question. It's we'll see this out later, but it's first we need to know, like let's say before, what is the success? What is the impact you want to achieve? Like you said, what is the vision from 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? How do we see the impact of our intervention in the whole community? And like I said, to achieve this, it's logical. If we go back just to this one, so this is the vision, okay, we want to achieve. This is the starting point, okay. Oops. Technology, don't, okay. So we want to achieve this, okay. This is the starting point. The miracle, there's no miracle in theory of change. There's like logical steps that we need to do in order to achieve this vision we want. And there are, of course, there are tools, there are techniques, there are I would say tips, tricks to use so that our vision is relevant to our organization or society, etc. But yeah, thanks for mentioning this, because that's like an interesting one. We want to start with this, the social impact, because most of the time I work with a lot of association in my in the past 5 years, and in the USAID funded project. They always start with these activities. Well, they always start with the budget, with the money. But all the time, we want to do a training, we want to visit, we want to do seminar. But it doesn't make any sense, because once you start drafting the activities, you will have an issue because you don't know where are you going. That's why, like you mentioned, we need to start with our vision, where we want to go. And let me go to Okay, I'm go to this example just to be because I think we've been talking about Tier a lot. So I will share with you some examples. Most of the time, when you meet someone, a partner, a stakeholder, your friend, your colleague, and you want to present your initiative or your organization, you speak about we are. I'm just gonna take your let's see. We are STG network. We do this and this and this. We do these activities. We work with youth, etc. We are Hip Hop Academy Association. We do incubation, entrepreneurship, training, hip hop, etc. So you speak with what you do in words. Even if we ask someone as a project manager give us a presentation, you will find a lot of slides. This is our target, this is our budget, this is a lot of nonsense, I would say, information that won't make it easier for other people to understand what you are doing. So this is why you need a theory of change. For example, this is international NGO that's called Help the Child. Okay. Can you imagine that their organization is summarized on this graphics? Very interesting. I will try to explain. So first, you have so when you see here, there are children, okay, a boy and a girl. So the objective, the impact. Oh, this is here. This is the social impact, okay. Social impact is to improve. Sorry. To improve the well-being of children in need, enabling them to live their lives in dignity and to the fullest. This is their global goal of this organization. To achieve this state, this objective, Help Child NGO work on 4 pillars. Okay, education for life, with hope and dignity, socially, emotionally developed, health, and strong. So if you want to achieve this objective, we need the 4 pillars, okay? To achieve these pillars, we have this result. Youth are resilient, confident, and economically active. The community has social cohesion, Parents are capable to take care of their Children are resilient to overcome barriers. Can you see the logic between all of this? To achieve this, we need these 4 pillars. To achieve these pillars, we need this result. And you can see that with these arrows, it's linked. This is the causal logic I spoke about. Is that it shows the linkages, relationship between result and intended change. So next time you want to do an intervention or even talk about an NGO, I would prefer, if I'm working with the Help Child NGO, I would prefer to use this instead of just giving a description because it's visual. You can understand it. It's logical. Each thing links to another. Another one. This is another example. So again, instead of talking about giving a presentation or like brochures, you use it in this graphic way. This project is in Africa, and we can start from here. The problem. So this guy is called Impact Direct. So what they're working on is to strengthen local NGOs in Africa. The issue they have is that most of donors don't trust these NGOs to give them funding. So what is the strategy of this NGO? One is to show the solution, the local solution of NGOs that they're already working on as a way to improve the socioeconomic condition of this NGOs. Second, we give them unrestricted grants. Let's give them funding, give them money. We don't say, for example, we don't trust you guys. We want to give you we will give you fundings or donors. you will do this through capacity strengthening or capacity building of these NGOs. When we do this, it gives us an output. By 2024, we have, you can see the African continent, we have NGOs, 65 NGOs with enhanced capacity, more trusted, who have access to opportunities. If we have this, it will lead to these outcomes. Outcomes that NGO projects have access to fundings, work on climate, working on education, on which would lead to two impacts. Shift of power to South NGOs. When we say shift of power, because again, this is technical terms, donors most of the time would come from another country. They will bring their staff, okay, and it's them who implement the initiative. So we say shift to power, we give money, not only money, but we give them power to local NGOs to implement this project, okay? Another impact is strength civil society. So again, maybe this project is like $10 million project, but it's summarized in one graphics and helps anyone to understand what these guys want to do. Questions or things to add or share from your experience? Or have you ever seen this kind of graphics in your NGO, your club, or other project?
Go again? Actually, no, I've never. I feel like they're more fun, they're more visually appealing, and they explain literally everything. So I have a question. Like here in this graph, we have like the resources replaced with problem, I would see. So and strategies are like activities, but like we didn't like really have in the problem section the resources used in the implementation of the whole project. So it is not crucial to mention it, or it's not really important. This is my question. My question is very not very strong.
No, good question.
Thank you.
Again, these guys, I think it's not it's like a personal choice. You want to show here the problem, okay? Of course, yes, resources. Most of the time, you won't find resources in this kind of shots, because if you see in my even this one, they don't show the money or resources. I think it's a management thing that you won't show it, okay? If you went here, the resources here are mentioned here. Yes, but of course you will need it. There's another terms, it is logical framework. I won't go into details, but that's where you put your resources, okay? For the activities, you mentioned, Hannah, here they put strategies. So they're like showing you what you're going to do from not from more macro level. They're working on three things: visibility of local led solution, unrestricted grant, capacity strengthening on NGOs terms. These are like the big activities, but if you want deep dive into details, we will surely have a lot of activities here. So yeah, so again, it's a personal choice, but I think if you show this to anyone, you know what these guys are working on. Here's another example. I like this graphics a lot. So basically, there is this charity. It says this name, Family Holiday Charity. If you see, there's like, if you remember, I told you about theory of change is a pathway. They are showing this in this theory of change. We have this path, okay, what we do before holiday, during the holiday, just after holiday, 6 months later, a year later, and there is this bright place. It's like this is like a city. This is the sea, and this is the sun. It's like it's something visionary. So for them, this is the impact difference we want to make. Every family feels able to spend quality time away together. Okay, to achieve this, we need to go over these steps. Again, it's logical. It's a path. Goes from place to place to achieve this vision, like Hannah mentioned earlier. Another form of theory of change related to violence. And you can see here what we spoke about. Input, output, outcome, impact. Again, impact, we're not control of the impact. We contribute to the impact. So in order to achieve this impact, we need to achieve this outcome. Outcomes are as a result of several outputs. We achieve this output through the use of input. Of course, assumptions. For example, let's read something here. So reforms. So we start here, board of directors. This is his human resource needs, media campaign will give us increased awareness of civic effort and reforms. And you can see here, it's not always a one impact, one outcome. We have a lot of outcome. If we did this if we achieve this, reach this output, will lead to this outcome. And an outcome can lead to another outcome. And if we achieve this outcome and this one, which is civic knowledge, skills, empowered and improved advocacy, all of this will lead us to this impact. So again, different forms, way to show your theory of change. Okay. So I will share with you this presentation, which this sum up like most of the theory of change. We have output. There are some organizations that use intermediate outcome, okay, that will lead to a purpose. And for this outcome to achieve this outcome, there are some assumptions that should be held. Again, the causal model I spoke about, this is the one, okay? They are linked. You cannot achieve this purpose without achieving these intermediate outcomes, okay? And always we have assumption, always. This is like the simplest form of result-based management. We have an intervention output that will lead to an outcome, okay? This outcome will lead to an intermediate outcome to sub-purpose, and which inherently will contribute to purpose or overall goal. Again, these are technical terms and difference from a donor to another. You can have instead of intermediate outcome, you can find intermediate result. So before go to the steps, please, questions. I want to hear others. Hannah has been really active. Iman, Abdurrahim. I have two Iman Boutahri and Aksim. I think Iman, Aksim just joined us. Iman? Okay, feel free when you speak. Hannah, Abdurrahim, any feedback?
Yeah, I want to speak again, but I am just afraid you're going to censor me. So my question is, so for the theory of change, in comparison to the project management, we're going to say process, project management really ends with the output phase, we can say, but theory of change is more sustainable. It's more like towards the end goal and after years of impact. Like, I don't know if we can make this difference between the two, just to have more clarification. If we have a project X, for example, as Abdurrahman said, the project entrepreneurship and sports, and are going to work on it. Should we start with the project management process, then go to theory of change for more vision, for more clarity, or work with the theory of change first? So what do you suggest and what do you advise us to do?
Good question. Good question. When we say project management, wait, let's see. Okay, this is a good one. When we say project management, it involves these cycles, okay? Most of the time, it's initiation. Initiation, it's when you do your, I don't know, do your research, understand the context. Most of the time when there is a call for a project, when, for example, there's a public policy, for example, Morocco want to invest in sport entrepreneurship, okay? This is when it happens, okay? There's a new policy, either for a country or for a donor, because the donors have policies too. They have strategy, 5-year strategy. So most of the time it's strategy. I need to know what are the strategy, okay? The planning is when I plan the activities, when when not only activities, anything about planning the budget, what kind of resources I need, what kind of stakeholders I need to mobilize, what kind of, if one, I think Iman I think spoke about they do evaluation at the end. I need to start planning the evaluation. How am I going to measure the progress and change in the early phase of planning, okay? And once I've done this, most of the time it depends from donor to another, either here before planning or after planning. That's where I get funding, get the money, either from the government, from local municipality, جماعة, or from ministry. When I get funding, then I start the execution. And execution is like, you are spending money, hiring people, hiring consultants, hiring your team, training, etc. That's why execution. This is typical phase on project. Monitoring, it's a continuous process. When you start the execution, you monitor. Okay, during the planning phase, I said I will work with, for example, for the first year of the project, I will work on 10 activities. So the monitoring help us verify if we are on track. If what we promise at first is everything tight. The closure is when everything is done. So when we say project management, it involves this cycle. It involves the 5 cycles. This is like a simple project life cycle. Again, it differs from a donor to another. So the tier of change should start here. The drafting, the design of tier of change should start here and should continue the whole life cycle. And during the monitoring, when we do monitoring, we need to check if this tier of change is still holds true, if it's still correct. Your tier of change is your project. Okay, so let's say, for example, let's write the tier of change. I'm just gonna, just gonna play with it, okay? Nothing fancy. Let's say we spoke about sport entrepreneurship. Let's say. Okay, come on, word. Okay. So, tier of change of Abid Al-Munaim, okay. If youth gained knowledge on entrepreneurship, have access to finance, funds, and have access to fund, okay? Let's see public, private funds, okay? And Agadir have what we say, an enabling environment for small businesses. Okay. For, let's say, youth-led and women-led small businesses. Okay. Then, oof. Okay. Entrepreneurship. I always miss this one. Come on. Entrepreneurship. Okay. Enabling. Okay. We don't have people who have a background in linguistics. Please don't roast me. Okay. Then youth inclusion. Let's say youth businesses will try in sport. Say sport businesses will try, which will lead to an inclusive economic growth. Whatever. So most of the time, the fear of change, the product, it's going to be like this. It's like if statement. If you have this, one, you'd gain knowledge on entrepreneurship. Okay, I have access to public and private funds, and have an enabling environment for youth-led women small businesses. Then this is the change, the outcome that sport businesses will thrive. Youth, like for example, in sport, whatever. Okay. So this is theory of change. If you want to speak about your project, this is your theory of change. Now this here, youth working in sports sector gain knowledge of entrepreneurship. This is an outcome. Okay, or result. Okay. And we have if we have this so if you have this outcome and this outcome and this outcome, okay, you have two, and it's fine, huh? You can have 1, 2, 3, etc. If we achieved these outcomes, okay, then we will reach this long-term outcome. And of course, for each outcome has activities and needs resources. Does it make any sense, Eva?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Way more clear.
So,
Thank you so much.
like I said, it's technical, but like I said, whenever you hear theory of change, it's going to be something like this: if then. This is
Okay.
the if then. Okay, this is the first thing. You know what? It may seem like simple and easy, but it's not that. In order to draft this statement, like I said, it is really random. It's not. I'm just assuming that if I reach this and this one and this one, it will lead this long-term outcome. Of course, you won't do like what you want to do what I just did. Just type it in my computer alone. It's a process that you need to respect in order to achieve to reach this this statement. And I put there are these steps that you can use in order to have your TOC, your theory of change. So first, like we said, define what is the problem you're addressing. Here's the context. You define problems either because you understand the context, because you worked on this for plus 5 years, because there was like a recent study of the government or of a research study center or of the World Bank or a donor that says we have this issue. And then you assess. This is why you really need to build a theory of change or your intervention based on data and evidence. And just like you woke up someday and say, oh, okay, guys, we have a problem in my city. Okay? You need to base this on really data. And then identify the goal. This is the fun part. This is where you typically involve your stakeholders, your beneficiary, youth, student, participant, partners. Identify the goal. What is you spoke about the problem, okay? What is the goal in 5 years, in 10 years? What is you will ask these stakeholders in 10 years, how do you see, for example, creative industry? How do you see entrepreneurship in sport? How do you see leadership, youth or student leadership? How do you see it? You need to be able to visualize it in your mind, and then discuss this with your stakeholders, with your partners, with your beneficiaries, and agree on it. Like I said before, for example, let's challenge Abdelmounir, right? Abdelrahim, on the project, it is sport entrepreneurship. Does the beneficiary or the government agree with you that you want entrepreneurship in sport instead of tourism? Because Agadir is known for tourism. And right now, these guys come and say, we want to support youth in sport entrepreneurship. If it's not a priority, you should not do it. Same, for example, I give the example of hip hop and rap or whatever. The lady you want to support small businesses in creative industry, but for example, in my city, like I said, we want ahidus everywhere. We don't want this weird looking guys dancing hip hop in my city. This is just I'm just putting like random pretext, but you should we want to have a clear and shared goal, and then we do causal outcomes diagram. So here is the goal. In order to achieve this goal in 5 years, 10 years, we need these outcomes. 1, 2, 3. The goal is to have improved livelihood or quality life of youth working in cultural industry. To achieve this, let's have an enabling environment. For example, for cultural industry, this is one. Let's have improved or strength or performing youth-led small businesses in hip hop or rap or creative industry. 3, let's have local population have good understanding and support creative industry in Oujda or Rabat or Agadir. This is the outcomes. And then you put the links. This is really important. You cannot have outcomes just like random. You need to have the link. Why do we need an enabling environment? Why we need people to support this? And of course, you would put from outcomes, output, and you put assumptions to have an enabling environment for people or youth working in creative industries. We assume that the cultural ministry will, for example, have a have a policy, we have a project in the policy to support this. We assume that local population, they are open and that will support this initiative. We assume, for example, that we have youth who are interested in this. We just put assumptions that are based on context assessment on when we define the problem. This is really linked. Define intervention. That's when you say intervention, it's activities, small project, initiatives, etc. that will help us achieve this. Define indicators. This is where the evaluation starts. So we can measure the change. We need indicators. For example, at least 50% of people we work with launched their small business in or finished the finalized incubation phase. Once we have the evaluation, learning, and monitoring the evaluation and learning, then we do the review. And that's what we call, does the theory of change is still relevant? Does it hold? So is it still relevant after 1 year, 2 years, 6 months? Let's review it. If something, does the key assumption we put, are this still hold? Is there any change? Is there a pandemic? No, an economic instability. Maybe we have a government who is not that open, who is more not into this kind of art. So we need to always change this. مرحبا Iman, I just saw your message. So please, you can jump in whenever you want. So we are talking about theory of change. Any question here? Or again, question, anything from your experience, something to add to contribute to this discussion? Is it clear? Or this is so technical and I'm just spitting random information here. I'd like to hear from Hannah. Okay, thanks. Abdurrahim, Iman, and Iman. Do you think, okay, so I heard you, Iman, talked about creative industry, Hannah on leadership, and Abdurrahim on sports, on the entrepreneurship. Do you think if this information that I shared with you, do you think they are relevant to your initiative or NGO or work? How you can apply this in your work? Iman,
I don't know. Are you talking about Iman Exim or the other Iman?
yeah, you are the famous Iman Agsim. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I just have to give an introduction about my background first, which is applied linguistics and English language teaching. So actually, I'm specialized in academic and pedagogical issues and initiatives. So I just wanted to say that the theory of change that you talk about, we use it for developing something that maybe it's new, it's developing curriculums, I mean textbooks. So to develop a textbooks, you have to define a problem, assessing the context and the background of students. I mean, the place when you are gonna to use that textbook, then identifying the goal. Is it for developing language skills or soft skills or developing communication or writing? And then causal outcomes diagram, key assumptions, all the elements of the theory we use it in the field of curriculum development. And according to the other side, which is leadership and initiatives that related with civic engagement, actually, I didn't have such background about theory of change, and I didn't have any opportunity where I use it. But yeah, it was a great a great introduction to know such things to be used in the future, to be implemented also in my association and initiatives that I'm being part of.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, good to know. Good to know that you guys are using it. Do you use this in university or association, or are you working with the ministry or something like this? I'm just curious.
Could you repeat the question? Is it for me?
I was saying is that are you using, because you said you are using similar approach in your in development of your curriculum. Are you using
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know, university, high school? What is the context, if I may?
Now, I'm a master student in FSA Rabat. So, you know, our master is for linguistics and educational issues. So we have a module just for curriculum development, and we use this theory to develop textbooks. Yeah. So the projects that we did in that program or in that module, you should use such theory to develop your textbook to get high marks, or you will fail.
Awesome, awesome. The more you
Yeah.
know. This is the first time I know that you as someone are you guys related for curriculum development?
Yes.
Linguistics. You know, I'm not sure if you saw me when I wrote the theory of change in Word. Do you see it?
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew someone who in one of you is specialized in linguistics. That's why I made
When you said that,
linguistics.
someone here, if someone from a linguistic background, they feel like, oh, how he knows that there is someone here who had a linguistic background. So yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have
Always,
that.
always, always. When someone's in the room from linguistics, you always make mistakes.
It's not a problem. Language, the first element or the first goal that language serves, it's communication. And those problems of writing, it happens because of stress, experiencing a new experiences. So yeah, it's not a problem. Even in teaching, you have not to focus on such mistakes in the input of students, but you have to focus more on communicating ideas.
Awesome, awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome, awesome. I'm sure you will be an amazing teacher or whatever you want to do. Awesome. I like this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Abdurrahim, too bad. I really wanted to hear you on the sports entrepreneurship, but too bad. But you can talk on this if we meet on the big event, the flagship event in February. And based on my experience, I wish I knew this when I started working with my association. Because it sets for most of the NGOs or local association, either they're not aware of this, and like I said, they just put in activities randomly, and that's why most of them don't get fundings. So it is highly recommended for you guys to share it with your organization or other. Hannah, you want to say something? No?
No, not really.
Okay. Iman Boutahri, anything to add? Reflect on this question, comment from your side.
It's clear. Thank you.
Shukran. Nada, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. It was
So-
very, very eye-opening, very interesting, truly technical, but I enjoyed it. And thank you for the excellent, and really, yes, I mean, it's a lot to learn. Like actually, we keep on learning.
Yeah.
Yes, well, the most interesting part is actually leading to change in behavior. I mean, this is also what we're trying in communication to do. So it's not a given. And I like the fact that you're talking about value and not impact. Perhaps also some terminologies are used, not in the right place, as they say.
Yeah. Thank you, Nada. Like I said, when I finished my presentation, I said, okay, oh my, this is very technical.
It is. It is, but then again, it explains it perfectly well, and it's very well. I love the choice of the graphs you used. It makes it more simple.
Yeah, thank you.
Much simpler.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Iman has a question, I guess. Iman was raising a hand. Iman,
I just wanted to ask if there is possibility to receive the presentation, so I can cover all what you covered before I come to the meeting.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Once we've done the workshop, I will post it in the group. And yeah, and feel free if you have any question, just either in the group or just reach out to me, and I'm happy to help. And Nada, I think this is really interesting. I think we can. Not sure if there is a possibility. I don't know, in the upcoming near future, to hold this in person where we can work on this to change, maybe to work on to change of either our or theory of change of our organization or project or intervention. I think it may be relevant. But anyway, it's something.
I'm sure there's a high demand on that across the group. I was expecting a bigger attendance, but I think also the timing has something to do in it. Those Skills Connect are also very, very interactive. So it's also great to keep them, in a smaller group because they create more interaction. But what we're going to do first, put this presentation and send it out with the recording, make it available on YouTube, advertise it and promote it more across the group. See if you want to do that in person. Definitely. I mean, if you have an audience for it, why not? And you can present it as an initiative for an in-person. So it's a Skills Connect. Skills Connect is an online platform, but as an initiative, as a presentation, as a workshop, more in depth with tools and I don't know, something very interactive with your peers. And if you have already a demand and an audience for that, and you have this expertise to be talking about theory of change, I suggest you present it as an initiative and tell us as an initiative what's the target audience, if there's a budget to it, etc., and where you plan to replicate it. So yeah, I think you can easily transform it into an on-ground initiative as a workshop, and perhaps, of course, then you can tu crées la demande, you create a demand on it for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Good idea. Yes.
Yeah, it could be new professional environment or target universities or startups. I don't know. I mean, any young professionals, and share with them. First, because you have the expertise, and it's all about that. It's all about sharing what we have, exchange skills, exchange knowledge, make it available to those who don't necessarily have access to it. And as a program, we'd love to offer it. So basically, we can support you to offer it to someone else.
Thank you for all the support.
I hope I answered it.
No, yeah, of course, yeah. Not sure Iman has her hands raised. No?
Gymnastic.
Oh, no. No, that was for the first question.
Okay.
Okay, so I will get the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for the great presentation, and thank you for the great ideas, and I really enjoy the presentation, and good luck in other initiatives.
For you as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nada. Please, Nada, you can have some closing remarks and you can set us free.
Well, thank you again. Like we said, I mean, the whole purpose is really, I think, building on the expertise, on the knowledge, on the skills each one of you has in different sectors, and also find the synergies, find interest. I mean, the whole purpose of the network with the Skills Connect tool and the initiatives we invite you to create and present are all about sharing with young people, your generation as much as you can, really. It's about sharing opportunities, sharing knowledge, sharing skills, exchanging ideas. You know, sometimes it helps. And we've seen the power of this free learning, I would say, thanks to your generosity and thanks to the time you're dedicating to each other. So it's really appreciated, and it will make a difference. And I think it will change according to the theory of Mohamed. We're seeing it. We check all the boxes, right? With
Yeah. Awesome. That was fun.
وميرسي كثير على وقتك يا محمد. You're a star, really.
شكرا خليكم
يلا we want more. بركي بنلاقي لهم تايمينج كمان يكون مناسب لكل النتورك regionally. Or if we're not advertising this enough, please tell us, guys. Perhaps we can do something to also boost and advertise it a bit more.
Good idea. Yeah.
Welcome to the new members. وإن شاء الله بنشوفكم بالدردشة تنتعرف عليكم أكثر.
إن شاء الله.
ودردشة رح تكون كثير informal. You can speak in English, in Arabic, in dialect, in French. كله بيكون with a cup of coffee or tea.
Yeah.
خلاص حكيت كفاية.
شكرا ندى بزاف.
ميرسي كثير شباب. يلا good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.